Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Shemi Hawashai, Shemakakadash, and I want to say Shalom to Akhenakwat out there, pursuing this truth diligently. Come at you once again with another lesson. And this one is, came through the spirit. It was actually a post from Reddit. It was actually this one right here. Titled, I still have my Mobil Speedpass. All right, it was on the nostalgia Reddit. All right, which I believe I happen to be subscribed to. It's just, nostalgic stuff from back then when you were a kid. Of course, that's subjective because some stuff's from the 80s, some stuff's from the 90s, some stuff's from the 2000s. I'm a 90s baby, so at the end of the day, I grew up in the early, mid 2000s. And I was not necessarily familiar with this because at that time when it was around, I was a kid. I wasn't doing anything with gas. Some of the older brothers might know of this, and but yeah, he was talking about it. I looked into it because one of the comments was basically someone was asking what it necessarily was, and someone said that it was a NFC device used to pay at pumps, contactless. And someone corrected them and said, no, it was actually an RFID device because NFC had not yet been invented at that time. And I guess this ran from like 1996, 97 until some point. I can't remember. We'll go and look it up here on the Speedpass. It said Speedpass was a keychain radio frequency identification device introduced in 1997 by Mobil, which merged with Exxon to become Exxon Mobil in 1999. It says for electronic payment, and that's what we're talking about today. It was for electronic payment, okay? You would apparently just be able to tap it. There was actually a little photo. You would just place your Speedpass there, all right? Each one had a unique identifier within it, linked to you, all right, to your account, and it would charge you that way. You wouldn't have to go in and do anything like that. Now, this process is very familiar to us now because we have Apple Pay, Google Pay, tap to pay on our cards. On our regular cards, you can actually just tap your card. You don't even have to, first it was you had to swipe. Then years, I remember like 2014, 15 maybe is when did the chips start coming out? When did chips get put into debit cards? 2015, 2014. They say 2010. Look at this. Says chip cards were introduced in New Zealand 2010. For the past couple of years, we've been using RFID credit cards, which you wave over a sensor. This RFID technology is really taking off, and really this is kind of like a lamb back, I guess you would say. Or is that the right word to use? A lamb? Let me look it up. Lamb back. Not a lamb back, but there's a word. A continuation, so to speak, all right, of the lesson that I did 2 days ago titled The RFID Implant is the Mark of the Beast mentioned in Revelation 13, which of course was in response to a lesson that was made by Apostle Gabar, right, which of course was in a response to a video made by another brother out there in England. So, what I wanted to look up was, so I guess I was right. So it says the evolution of the chip-enabled credit card. It says in 2015, chip-enabled credit cards and debit cards became the mainstream in the United States. So yeah, apparently they've been around since 2016. America didn't start, or 2006. America didn't start using them until 2012, and then they weren't really like mainstream until 2015. That's when I remember like all the cards, having chip. Yeah, if you didn't have it, you had to go and get a new card with the chip in it. But yeah, so it went from swipe, all right. It went from cash, all right, to having a card that you could just swipe, all right, to having a card that you could just tap, okay. And now the card really just sits in your wallet or even at home, and You just tap your phone. But this is like the grandfather of this type technology, really, being tested on people to see, convenience. All right, convenience, Speedpass. They even have a little cheetah or a lion or a tiger. I can't really tell what that is. Looks like it's a tiger, but I assume it's a cheetah because they're the fast ones. But it looks like a tiger to me. Oh, it is a tiger. Okay, it is a tiger. So you see, yeah, and it looked like this, and I'm willing to bet I'd like to get my hands on one of these, as a matter of fact, and pop it open, crack it open, because I'm willing to bet that it's just an RFID in there, an RFID chip in there, which would be interesting. All right, and if you haven't seen one, this is what they look like, and it's in the perfect size. This is what they look like, right? Little tiny little devices. All right, that will eventually be planted under people's skin. All right, first optionally. All right, then mandatorily. All right, if you don't take it, then there's going to be repercussions from the devil. All right, Esau. But if you do take it, there'll be repercussions from the Lord. Okay, and remember, the Lord's much scarier than whatever this devil down here can do to you. So that is the RFID chip. If you're not familiar with the RFID chip being the mark of the beast, I recommend going and checking out the lesson from a couple days ago. Going on any of the elders or apostles, I should say, or elders videos. Just typing RFID in. This is Apostle Gabar. All right. If you go and type in RFID or MOTB. Concerning the mark, MOTB, you can type in, a lot of time they'll say MOTB. You don't see them say RFID a lot. I'm kind of risky with it, and I'll just say RFID because, whatever. But you see, they don't see it a lot. But if you type in MOTB, you'll see a whole bunch of things come up, which is, of course, MOTB stands for Mark of the Beast. Okay. But they have a lot of videos and stuff like that. They're trying not to get their channels taken down. I'm a little bit more risky with it just because, right? We'll see. But yeah, the RFID implant is the Mark of the Beast mentioned in Revelation 13. So go and check those out. MOTB, you can type in microchip, all right, chip, videos like that, GMS, and then they should come up. So you can go to what is the 666 mark? All right, that was Apostle Horror. You can go to Daily Edification, Daily Edification 4, which is Apostle Gabar, or there's also GMS Infodoc Channel 12, all right, which is Apostle Ramallah. You can type in the same things. Unfortunately, I don't think Mobil YouTube has that feature to be able to search on channels, but if you have a desktop or a laptop, you can do it that way. Matter of fact, if you have if you go to the web on your phone, you might be able to find it that way too. I just don't know if the app has that capability. You could always try desktop mode in Safari or whatever. But yeah, man, they've been playing with this technology for quite some time. I do want to finish reading up a little bit about this. It says it was used for electronic payment. It was originally developed by Verifone. By 2004, more than 7 million people possessed Speedpass tags, which could be used at approximately 10,000 ExxonMobil and Esso gas stations worldwide. Speedpass was one of the first widely developed consumer RFID payment systems of its kind, debuting nationwide in 1997, far ahead of Visa and MasterCard RFID trials. So far before it came to your credit card. All right, it was a trial. So you can see it, but yeah, we don't have to really read any more than that. Although I did find this little article here that was from 2001, July 13, 2001 to be exact, which was talking about this device and titled "Credit on Your Keyring." And before we go anywhere else with this, I do want to grab a scripture. This is I'll just start with 11. 2 Corinthians 2:11, it says, "Lest Satan should get advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." Okay, and this, this is really telling we're not supposed to be ignorant of the things that this devil is doing. All right. Another scripture to go with this. All right, would be Ecclesiastes 5:15, and it says, "Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small." So going back to Micah 2:1, it's not 2:1, but Slakia, closed out of it. 2 Corinthians 2:11, excuse me, it says, "Lest Satan should get advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." So we're not supposed to be, ignorant in a great matter or a small. All right, and because of that, we're supposed to be aware and in the know of what type of shit this devil does. Right? At the end of the day, he's the devil. So what type of stuff does the devil do? Devilish stuff, devilish things. He's gonna act like the devil because he's the devil. All right, and I'm not talking about the spiritual demon Satan. I'm talking about the devil. All right, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Not every so-called white person is an Edomite, but all right, that's what the original people that look like that, that's what they go back to. And most so-called white people you see today are in fact Edomites, just like most so-called black folk that you see. Black folk, not Africans. Most so-called black folk that you see are in fact Israelites. All right, but it's not definitive. All right, you have to try them of their spirit. But yeah, man. So we're not ignorant. All right. Now they've been doing these trials. They've been, they gotta test things. They gotta take it slow, because if they put it out there, all at once, it's gonna spike alarms. They gotta do a thing called desensitization. All right. They really gotta really indoctrinate you. All right. To make you and indoctrinate means to basically cohere someone to accept a set of beliefs uncritically. Okay. Over time, by being indoctrinated. And really it's a form of indoctrination. They start you with, RFID fast pass or whatever they called it. Speedpass, Speedpass. And they start you on that, then they put it in your cards, then you start hearing, words like RFID or NFC or chip or microchip. I always go back and talk about from time to time. A couple of years ago, they had that Cheerios commercial that really didn't make any sense. The ones that really stick to me are the Cheerios commercial and the Free Breeze. The Febreze chip commercial, which was interesting because it's just like, why mention a microchip, specifically? And everybody went and talked about it. It's not even a microchip that's in that. I guess it was like a just a regular can't remember what they said, but we'll go there and see what it says. But yeah, man, it's the whole I guess this was like 2 years ago. It was just really weird. And we'll get the Cheerios commercial as well. I'm gonna play these, of course. We have a fair use. We are allowed to use these for religious instruction and news reporting. I don't make any less money off of these lessons, these videos. All right, they're free. And so I have the full right to be able to use these. So don't try to flag it or do anything like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this.
Hi, I use Febreze Fade Defy plug.
And I use this.
Febreze has a microchip to control scent release.
It's not a microchip. All right, those are I guess you could say chips in a way, but they're not necessarily microchips in the standard way. All right, just like a regular circuit board and breadboard.
So it smells first day fresh for 50 days.
50 days?
And it's released so it smells first day fresh for Fade Defy plug.
And I use this.
Febreze has a microchip to control scent release so it smells first day fresh for 50 days.
50 days?
And its refill reminder light means I'll never miss a day of freshness. Febreze plug.
It says, I love how they show a PCB, but no IC. All right, what is an IC? I think it stands for integrated controller. Or integrated control. Integrated circuit. All right, which would be a microchip, also known as a microchip. All right, they don't really show any. It says they show a PCB, but no ICs. Let's see. Do they think their customers are stupid? I will skip for Breeze. Let's see. Let's see, where was it? Right here. Microchips desensitizing. This is not good. Where else? A lot of people talking about race. Let's see. Stop the anti-wine ads. Microchips. So you see people talking about microchips, and the other one was Cheerios. And what I'm showing you here is they put these things out there for desensitization. Okay, desensitization. That's what it, like that person said. That's exactly what it is desensitization. We'll look it up. Desensitize. All right. Having been made less sensitive. It says desensitization is an emotional response or lack of response due to repeated exposure of a stimulus. You know, no one's gonna freak out about microchips because you hear it. Microchip this, microchip and Glade, microchip. I've invented the microchip. This microchip. This microchip. Then you put out a game, and it's a good game, but Cyberpunk 2077, where it's all about getting chrome, right? And it's based off of Johnny Mnemonic. All right, jacking in. All right, getting you have a thing in your wrist that you plug in, you jack into electronics and stuff like that, and cybernetics and cyborgism, and all that type of stuff, and they glorify it, right? And they put all that in there, they put all that out there, so it seems cool, it seems awesome, they do it, they make it sound cool, or they do stuff like this, so the word microchip means nothing anymore, really. All right, and half the time microchip doesn't mean anything anymore when you think about it. Our phones got microchips in it and all this stuff because a lot of us have been desensitized to that. But when they start talking about microchips in another way, oh, it's just a microchip under the skin. People are like, oh, microchip, okay. But they're not realizing the nefariousness of that situation, right? So let's go ahead and play this.
Are you guys telling secrets? Mine is that Honey Nut Cheerios can help lower cholesterol.
That's not a secret. It's on the box.
Wow. Oh, I have a secret. I invented the microchip. Is she serious?
So, just weird. It's just weird, right? Oh, and the comments have been turned off of this. This used to have comments on it. This used to have comments on it. What's that guy's name? Cheerios commercial. Let me try to type it all out right. Maybe it'll come up. It has the people from The Office in it. Here it is.
Are you guys telling secrets? Mine is that Honey Nut Cheerios can help lower cholesterol.
That's not a secret. It's on the box.
Wow.
Oh, I have a secret. I invented the microchip.
Is she serious?
There you go. Yep, right in our faces. No more hiding, because I can't see it. Actresses from The Office, Honey Nut Cheerios. Right here, Revelation 13 is coming true before our eyes. Mark the beast. Yep. So, you see it. Matter of fact. Go ahead and save that.
Fabrice.
And then I'm gonna go ahead and save this as well. Just in case I ever need them. But yeah, man. That's all part of desensitization. Desensitization. All right, to get you ready, all right, for that Revelation 13. All right. And I'm going to go read that scripture again, Lord willing, because we need to get it. But again, going back to Ecclesiastes 5:15, be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small, whether it be this, Speedpass, whether it be the Febreze commercial, or whether it be the Cheerios commercial, or anything that you see now and in the future regarding words like RFID or NFC or microchip or brain chip, things like Neuralink, right? Different little technologies like that. We're not supposed to be ignorant in any of those things in a great matter or a small. It doesn't matter how big or small it is. You know, you got to be on the watch. You got to be on the lookout constantly, because you just never know. Like when there's just different things that you see, you know, going back, you know, from things I've personally seen. You know, my wife's sister at one point, when she was working at a job, they had a how they clocked in and out. They had to scan their fingertips, and I made a lesson on that. All right, about, you know, again, being not ignorant in a great matter or a small. That's, you gotta. It would scan their finger, and that's how it knew. You know, and her name would come right up, bing, right? And then, before that, at Savers, or at thrift store, I think they call it different names throughout the country, but Savers, a thrift store here, at least on the West Coast, the associates or whatever, the people that worked there, they had a biometric vein scanner, all right, to get into their terminals, to get into the computers. It was a vein scanner. I'll show you. It was a vein scanner. Like, it was like a vein scanner identification. Yeah, it looked like this, right? Palm vein scanners. It actually looked a little bit different than that. It looked like it looked close to that, right? Or something like that. But it was like the palm vein, kind of like that is what it looked like. And again, going back into scanning your palm, putting your palm there, putting your finger there. And then at my job, you know, about a year or so ago, maybe less than a year, they got a retina scanner. All right, retina scanner ID. All right, which is like a tiny little. This one sits on the counter, but you know, and your phones do that now, right? Your phones do that as well. You know, iris scanner biometric device. Yeah, basically, it doesn't look like any of these, but it's the same thing, right? And it tracks your eye. Kind of looks similar. Yeah, kind of looks like this, right? Very similar to that. I think it's by the same company, Iris ID. Yeah, basically looks like that, and it has this little thing that moves up and down. This is basically the same one, slightly different model maybe, but yeah, this is how it looks. And it has these, and it goes and they move up and down. It's weird. And then they look at your face, and really it's more of a face scan than it is an iris scan, but it blasts these things, and I'm not a fan of it. I don't like it. Matter of fact, I don't even have to use this thing anymore. So call all you Howbash Meow Shy, because after I got back off the sick leave, when I had to get my teeth removed and all that, they put me into a side system to keep me employed, but not necessarily on the regular roll, on the payroll. And so I got moved over, and when that happened, it messed up the my Iris ID settings. So now I have to clock in and out using the computer. It's only me and one other guy at this company that can do that. He refused to use it because he thinks it's Chinese technology and it's all conspiracy, right? And I didn't like using it either, but I was like, you know, I don't want to lose my job if they, you know, start putting up a fucking issue with it. But I don't have to use it anymore. Call all you Howbash Meow Shy, and Lord willing, I don't have to use that thing. Maybe, Lord willing, it's been, you know, a month or so more than a couple months actually, and they haven't got on me about using that, and seems to be good. So I'm fine with it. Lord willing, it stays that way. Shah. So But yeah, man, when you see all these things, you got to be able to it's signs. These are signs, man. These are signs. As a matter of fact, in a way, this is usually, with dealing with things that we see out in the world, wars, rumors of wars, things and commotions and stuff. But these things are really set as a sign of the season as well. When you're seeing these things amplify, it's really telling you where we're at. We're getting into the time where the mark of the beast is going to be rolled out, right? We're going to go from verse 2, Matthew 16:2. It says, actually, we'll go just for verse 1. Might as well start. Verse 1, it says, the Pharisees also with the Sadducees came, and tempting desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven. And he answered and said unto them, this is Yahushua speaking, it's red letter. He said, when it is evening, ye say it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites, you can discern the face of the sky, but can ye not discern the signs of the times? So, and that's going, for a lot of you people these days, you're in that same spirit as, those brain fart, Pharisees and Sadducees. Come on. The Pharisees and Sadducees, you're in the same type of spirit as they are, where they just could not see. All right, they cannot tell. All right, you can see if there's a storm cloud outside that it's gonna rain, but all these things that you're seeing, talking about RFID this, RFID that, the rumors of wars, the earthquakes, the uproars of the people, you can see all these things, and you can't tell that we're in the end days, right? And that's telling of what type of person you are, all right, and that you're really not paying attention, right? That you're really not paying attention. So bear with me one moment. I'm gonna try to get some scriptures pulled up. I want to grab some scriptures, and I think we're going to read a little bit of this. All right. Yeah, let's read a little bit, and then I got a couple more scriptures, and I think we'll get to closing out. So, credit on your keyring back 2001. All right. It says a little gadget called Speedpass lets you pay for gasoline from your local Mobil and Exxon station in just seconds. And soon, you could be using it at your neighborhood McDonald's. 2001. Guess what? You're not using Speedpass, but you know what you do use? Tap. Bling! Right? Everybody knows that sound. Bling! Right? You hear it. Everybody knows that sound. All right? You know what it means. Okay? Because it's been ingrained into your brains. So it's become normalized. All right, if I go somewhere that doesn't have tap, Walmart, right, it pisses me off. I'm like, what this? They don't have fucking tap. Then I gotta go and get my wallet. I gotta go and get the card, take it out, and it's not even, it's lazy. It really is laziness. But when you've been given a convenience, all right, and that convenience gets stripped away, you're like, hey man, what the fuck, So I go, I can go to Sprouts and they have tap. Target, they have tap. Everywhere I've ever been pretty much has tap. All right. Now, Tropical Smoothie back in the day, back in 2020, they didn't have tap, but I'm willing to bet they probably have it now. I'm not sure if Hobby Lobby does tap or not. They don't even use barcodes in there, and because they think the barcode is the mark of the beast. They're wrong, but they're close. Okay, because it has the number of the beast on it, but it's not the mark of the beast. All right, the mark of the beast is the RFID chip, which also has the number of the beast within it. All right, and it's in its barcode-like system. But yeah, so in a way, this guy predicted something that soon you could be using it in your neighborhood McDonald's. In a way, we're not using that, but the technology that powers that, we're still very much using today, and it works at McDonald's. I just don't eat that filthy fucking place. The Speedpass is a radio frequency identification device that works like those electronic toll collection tags that attach to car windshields. In some cases, Speedpass devices are even smaller, just 1.5 inches long. It says, Ain't that some nostalgia? It says, driving through Brookfield, Connecticut this weekend, I found the Mobil station at the intersection of Highway 25, US 7, and US 207 was selling regular gas. Here's the nostalgia. Was selling regular gas for $1 and basically 50 cents. All right, $1.50 a gallon. God damn. It was about 15 cents less than the 3 other gas stations there. The station was decorated with banners and balloons and even a Mobil racing car in the parking lot, all to lure people up to sign for their own personal speed pass. Hundreds of people pulled up to the pumps to gas up at those cheap prices and also sampled the 25-cent hot dogs and pop. God damn, man. Really, the 2001 really makes you think back. You know, the gas was $1.50. All right, 25-cent hot dog and popcorn. Shit, man. If it wasn't for the truth, I'd say let's go back. Right? Because each one of them was urged to fill out a Speedpass application. Mobil was spending a lot of money on a summer Sunday to make people aware of just how easy it is to use an RFID system. Even in the writing, man. Even in the writing. Making it, no, look how easy it is. Look how easy RFID is. RFID, look how easy. RFID. That desensitization, man. Says, but I already knew that, as I've been using my Speedpass for almost a year. Alright? What's inside? When the little plastic key tag is waved in front of a special area on the gas pump, there was also allegedly, I was reading on the Reddit post, there's apparently one that you would actually have in your car as well. Now, RFID is passive. There was also an active RFID. They have passive and active. Active is powered. And apparently there's an active one. I don't know how it powered. Probably plug it into your cigarette lighter, thing in the car. That one, you wouldn't even have to, tap it. It would just automatically get it, which makes little sense to me because you still have to get out and, grab the fucking pump. So you might as well just wave that thing over there. But it says, when the little plastic key tag is waved in front of a special area on the gas pump, tag reader inside the pump finds a secret number embedded in the device's chip. It's not, a serial number, an ID, right? It's kind of like the same way that when those chips are getting implanted in people, they're going to have a unique identifier that, corresponds to who you are. All right. With all your medical records, your first name, last name, social security number, where you work, how much money you make, your bank account, all that. It says the number corresponds to your Speedpass account. RFID implants are going to correspond to your digital identification. All right. Your digital ID. Right. It says at that point, an insignia lights up red. In this case, the Mobil flying horse signaling you to begin pumping. And they're already doing that. And they have the new digital ID system, the new digital version of the Real ID. I think it's called Real ID. If you're flying or doing anything like that, you really pretty much got to get it. It says your purchases are charged to a credit card connected to that Speedpass account. I've also purchased car washes at the pump and quite a few bottles of soda with my Speedpass. Mobil is also rolling out a Speedpass car tag that is meant to be installed on the rear, on the side or rear window of your car. It is very much like the automatic toll devices discussed earlier. The car tag has a battery inside that allows it to be used a few feet away from the pump, unlike the passive key tag, which has to be held very close to the pump to activate it. The car tag's battery is supposed to last 3 to 5 years. Interesting. So I guess it was just a battery, ran off a battery and not, powered by your cigarette lighter. It says Exxon Mobil spokesperson Jenny Miller told me that 5 million people have applied for, received, activated, and used their Speedpass tags. The actual Speedpass program is handled by an Exxon Mobil subsidiary. Speedpass McDonald's. The most exciting use for Speedpass is currently being tested in Chicago. The same RFID device that you use at Exxon Mobil and Exxon gas stations can also be used at participating McDonald's restaurants, both inside and at the drive-thru. It works just like it does at the gas pump. Customers place their orders and they wave the key tags in front of the counter or drive-thru window reader. Look at that. Just like what we're doing today. If everything works as planned, the golden arches illuminate. Bling! You get your food and you're on your way. McDonald's hopes to accept Speedpass payments at about 400 Chicago area restaurants this fall. It says Mobil Speedpass success has caused other companies to stand up and take notice. Shell Oil is rolling out its version of RFID called Easy Pay. Shell service will operate at different radio frequencies than Mobil's, so at least for now they won't be interchangeable at each other's station, but that's where SAMSys comes in. SAMSys Technologies of Ontario, Canada, taking RFID to the next step. Basically, its readers can translate not only Speedpass tags, but also any company's RFID tags. The readers work regardless of frequency or protocol. According to SAMSys chairman, the CEO, Cliff Howard, what that means is with this company's reader technology, you can not only use your Speedpass at McDonald's, but also use your Shell, EasyPay, or any other RFID that McDonald's enters into agreement. That McDonald's enters into agreement with. Same for buying gasoline or anything else. You won't be restricted by carrying one particular company key tag with you. There you go. It says Howard envisions a world in which RFID competes with and replaces barcodes. Still hasn't really. Barcodes are still the norm, but sometimes they have RFID embedded. This company's smart shelf technology allows product tracking from the earliest step of manufacturing to retail sales in a store. He probably ended up, getting, pretty lucrative situation because they do use RFID and all those type of tags for tracking and manufacturing and warehouse. So he was onto something. Unlike barcodes, which have to be applied before sale, Smart Shelf RFID tags can follow the product every step throughout the supply chain. And that's what they're doing now. He says RFID removes operator intervention and makes product tracking simple and efficient. There you go. International Paper, Procter & Gamble, Revlon, and Walmart are among those companies currently involved in testing RFID technologies. 2001, folks. 2001. So, let's get, what scripture do I want to get here? Let's get a couple. Let's get, this one's for these devils. All right, they're devising this wickedness. Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. They have the power to do it, so they do it. Let's get Revelation 13, just because we got to, because of the lesson. And 16, it says, listen here, does this not sound like the technologies we've been talking about? Revelation 13 and 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark. All right, if you go into the word mark, it says charagma. All right, it's talking about a stamp, an imprinted mark, and it's not. It says stamp or imprinted mark if you go to the interlinear in the Greek, but it's not a stamp as in on top of the skin. It's into the skin. All right, physically imprinted into the skin, pressed into. Okay, in their right hand or in their forehead. So you can receive that mark in your right hand or in your forehead. Right? And that's, with stuff like Neuralink, right? Where they put it in your forehead, back of your head, at the top of your head, and then, of course, marking your right hand. Now, sometimes it'll be in your left hand if you're left-handed, but primarily most people are right-handed. So it's going to be either in your right hand or your forehead. And it says, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So you're not going to be able to buy and you're not going to be able to sell unless you have that chip. All right, unless you have that RFID, that mark of the beast. And they're not going to call it the mark of the beast. Who knows what they're going to brand it as, but that's what it's going to be. All right, as a matter of fact, if you go and get Revelation 13 and 16, I'll prove it. And you get that word, mark. All right, it's not a spiritual mark, it's a physical mark. It says a stamp and imprinted mark. Imprinted mark, okay? Or, there's a couple different variations, but it says, of the mark stamped into the forehead or the right hand as a badge of the followers of the Antichrist. It's not, an antichrists, all right? Anti-Hamashiachs, really, which are just the Edomites. It says thing carved, sculpture, graven work. Graven, all right? Sculpture, carved into graven work, imprinted, all right? That's what we're talking about, okay? And as you can see in Revelation 13, 16, it's talking about a imprinted mark, all right? An imprinted mark, and it goes back to karax, root word, which means a pale, a stake, or a palisade. If you look up what a pale, a stake, or a palisade are, they look like a spike, all right, because that's what's going to be used, all right, to put that thing into your skin. Going back into that, if you look at the thumbnail of the video I just made the other day, it's actually got it in the thumbnail, so I'll just pull that up because it's easy enough to grab. That's how they're going to be implanting it into you. Bam, right there in the hand. So, since it's up again, Ecclesiastes 5 and 15, Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small, because that's how this whole situation is going to work. And then finally, let's get 1 Peter 5 and 8. Well, actually, let's get Mark 13 and 33. Dealing with the Lord's return. All right, and mind you, some of these let's get till said measure be fulfilled. You know, these things have to happen before the Lord comes back, right? There's prophecies, and like it says, 2nd Esdras 4 and 37, by measure hath he measured the times, and by number hath he numbered the times, and he doth not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled. And one of those said measures being fulfilled is the mark of the beast, and it has not been fulfilled yet, so he can't necessarily come back yet because that measure has not been fulfilled yet. So Mark 13 and 31, heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. But of that day and that hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels which are in heaven, neither the Son, but the Father. Now, it's been stipulated that we're so close to the end that more than likely Yahushua knows when that time is, because, of course, you got to get geared up and get ready to get sent out. And then in 33, it says, take ye heed and watch and pray, for ye know not when that time is. So we're supposed to be watching and trying to see when this time is by looking at those measures, all right, when those things are fulfilled. Some of them have been fulfilled, some of them are yet to come. Notably, the mark of the beast, all right, has not yet been fully implemented and rolled out. So that's the one, the big one we're in World War III and Jacob's Trouble. Those ones we're waiting on, and those are going to be kind of synonymous with each other and happen kind of back to back in a way. And then finally, 1 Peter 5 and 8, and then we're going to go ahead and close out. Yeah. So it says first, and we're going to probably get one more. It says 1 Peter 5 and 8, be sober, be vigilant. What does it mean to be vigil? Okay, what does it mean to be vigil? Okay, a period of keeping awake during a time usually spent asleep, especially to keep watch or pray. Vigilant. All right, vigil. Vigilant, keeping careful watch for possible dangers or difficulties. So be sober. That means be in the right mind. Doesn't mean you can't drink, but it means be in the right place, all right, spiritually within the mind. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, is a roaring lion walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. And then finally, Ephesians 6 and 11. Okay, it says, Ephesians 6 and 11. Bear with me. It reads, put on the whole armor of Yahweh, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. What are the wiles? Tricks, things that are done.
Wile.
Devious or cunning stratagems employed by manipulating or persuading someone to do what one wants. Tricks, ruses, ploys, schemes. Things that these devils are doing, RFID, all these different types of things, right? That you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities. Okay? Principalities, all right? The fifth highest order of it can also, deal with principles, all right? Ideologies, okay? Standards, okay? Against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. But, it's against principalities and against powers. These people, the rulers of the world, right? Of the darkness of this world, right? And in turn, their principles, all right? Their ideologies, okay? That they're putting out there. That's one of the things we're wrestling against. It's against spiritual wickedness in high places. It says, wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of Yahweh, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day. And having done all to stand, getting these scriptures, understanding, praying, all right, preparing. It says, stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of wicked, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of Yahweh, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints. And for me, that utterance may be given unto me, that I may open my mouth boldly to make known the mystery of the gospel, for which I am an ambassador in bonds, that therein I may speak boldly as I ought to speak. So you got to put on that whole armor, man. You got to put on that whole armor. Prepare, stay prayed up. All right, let's get one more. First Thessalonians 5:17. Pray without ceasing. And everything give thanks, for this is the will of Yahweh and Hamashiach Yahushai concerning you. So stay prayed up, stay watchful, all right, stay vigilant, all right, out there, sober, all taking to heed all the things that the scriptures say, because they've been, piloting this technology for quite a long time, getting you used to it, adapting it, growing it, getting it more sophisticated, on and on and on and on and on. Now every single one of us have RFID chips in our house, whether it's in our phone or or that's more of an NFC, whether it's in our cards, all right, or other devices that we happen to use from time to time. Who knows what all these things are in? Okay, even the Nintendo Switch has an NFC reading device in it. So for their amiibos. So this technology is everywhere, man, and it's desensitization for a reason. All right, be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small. We know what they're using it for. All right, don't be stupid. So we're going to close out there. All right, Lord willing, it was edifying. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Akakwadash. I want to say Shalom, you Akbanakwa out there, you brothers and sisters. Keep enduring, keep the faith. We're almost out of here. Until next one, Lord willing. Shalom.